views expressed on the following program are those of the host and not necessarily those of staff, management, or ownership.
Phoenix, Brother Mike is back on the radio. Casa Grande, Prescott. Hey, thank you for tuning in. Thanks for listening to the Bible study today. Gracias. Today's Bible study, Voices That Kill. The rise of schizophrenia in the United States of America. This will be a good radio program for people who are mentally ill. It'll be a great one. I'd call somebody and tell them the radio program's on. It'll help them a lot. This is Brother Mike. I'm the professional counselor. The Arizona Deliverance Center in Phoenix. We are on 15th Avenue, just south of Osborne Road. We're in the heart of Maricopa County, Arizona, in Phoenix, downtown area. On the website, hardcorechristianity.com, we have all of our ministry services. We have 2 services every week, Thursday and Friday nights at 7 o'clock. We have teaching and preaching and healing and deliverance at both those services. I teach on Friday nights. And on the website, you can join us on our Facebook or our YouTube channels. You can sign up for our next free seminar, usually at the end of the month, usually the last Friday of the month. And they're always free. All the seminars are free. And you can send us another donation. Hit the PayPal button and send us another donation again. Thank you for keeping me on the air for 15 straight years. I appreciate that so much. All our bills are paid. We always pay all our bills, always pay them on time. It's thanks to you. Thank you for caring. And thank you for sending your referrals for your real estate sales. Sister Karen, she's on the home page of the website. Be happy to help you sell your home. That is fantastic. Thank you for your kindness. We had a great 2017 with a record number of people delivered from demons, a record number of people physically healed. It was wonderful. If you go to the Facebook page and click on our Facebook page, it's called Blessing on Facebook. You'll see the testimonies and of many of the people that got healed last year. I posted several of those testimonies. They're really quite remarkable. And again, once again, all thanks to you. Voices That Kill. Wow. The rise of schizophrenia in the United States of America. I tell you what, it is increasing in power, increasing in numbers, and schizophrenics who have a violent component to the mental illness are capable of incredible damage. The guy that went into the movie theater in Colorado with the assault rifle and shot all those people in the movie theater, he had paranoid schizophrenia. Severe case, and he had a violent component to the disease. Antioch, Tennessee. Did you read this article? It came out just a few days ago. A Tennessee man went on a shooting rampage at a church last month, killing 1 and injuring 7 others after he heard voices in his head prior to the attack. They interviewed the guy and said that he was hearing voices in his head telling him what to do and how to do it. The article, it's quite a lengthy article, but Emmanuel Kittiga Sampson, he was 25 years old, went to this church and wanted to blow everybody away. But there was a parishioner there who had a gun in his car. It was the Burnett Chapel Church of Christ, Antioch, Tennessee. And he walks in, he pulls into the lot, he gets out of the car, and a woman named Melanie Smith, age 39, she was walking to her car. He pulls the gun out and shoots her right in the parking lot and kills her. He goes into the church and indiscriminately begins shooting at people. Well, the guy in there named Robert Engel, he was 22 years old, he was an usher. He confronted him, and Samson pistol whipped the guy. And then he runs out to his car, and then he gets a pistol. He had a legal permit to carry a firearm. They had a significant struggle between the two of them. They were both apparently holding each other's guns and fighting. Well, anyway, the schizophrenic patient shot himself in the chest. Shot himself right in the chest, and the other guy that had the gun, the usher, held him down till the cops got there. But they looked at his Facebook page and looked at some of his writings, and they saw a dichotomy, which I want to point out to you. Schizophrenia is an extremely powerful illness, and it's caused 100% by demons. It's not caused by chemicals in the body. It's not caused by DNA or hormones or anything like that. It's caused by powerful spirits that get into the person's brain and they take over the person's personality. And the way this schizophrenia demon gets in, he gets in usually in late teens or early 20s, but he can't get in on his own. The spirit of rejection from childhood is the one that later on lets him in. And so someone who goes through childhood trauma and extreme disappointment as a child, usually grade school, can be preschool, this rejection spirit gets into the person, runs down their self-worth and runs down their self-concept, and abuses the person for years. And it takes several years for the person's mind to be in a position where it can yield over to the spirit of schizophrenia. In a very small number of cases, this spirit attacks the child in the womb, but those are very, very small, less than 1%. And occasionally you'll have childhood schizophrenia, but again, that's a very, very low percent. Most of them go the course of this man. They get in later in life, and these spirits also bring with them religious demons. These schizophrenia spirits are very religious, and they love Christianity. They read the Bible. They like to talk about Christian things. It's amazing. They can sometimes pass themselves as a born-again Christian. It's quite remarkable. But they have this terrible dichotomy, and the great apostle James mentions it in his writings. He calls them double-minded. That's the Greek word dipsychos. It means somebody that has two souls. A dipsychos is a person that has two souls. Well, this one soul is the soul that they had when they were born, that was given to them by God, by birth. And the second soul is a manufactured soul using negative thoughts and negative emotions to build this stronghold in the person's mind. And this schizophrenia demon gets into this second soul after it's been built by other spirits, principally the spirit of rejection, the spirit of fear. These demons build this second dipsychos, this fake soul in there, and the schizophrenia demon usually gets in late teens or early 20s, and then he takes over because he is the strong man. He's the more powerful spirit. He's the one that talks to them in their mind, and he'll talk at you sometimes. They'll use the person's vocal cords in their mouth to talk to you. It happened in Mark chapter 5. Jesus ran into a patient which had paranoid schizophrenia type symptoms, and the spirit was talking to Jesus. And Jesus asked him what his name was. He gave it, and then Jesus told them to go. And they left that poor man. He was permanently and totally disabled, and he was homeless. But schizophrenia is a very, very difficult illness to get a hold of. I have had schizoaffective patients and schizophrenia patients completely healed. But the majority of them I've worked with have not been healed. And the reason for that is the schizophrenia spirits are so strong that the person will not bifurcate themselves and their own thought process from the spirit's process. And as long as the person continues to listen to the schizophrenia demon, they can't be cured. Well, this gentleman here in this story that tried to shoot this church up, thank God it didn't happen. Only 1 or 2 people died. Had this schizophrenia demon, and he had this religious ideology along with it. He had attended that church before, and he was an immigrant from Sudan. And he wanted to be a psychologist, or he wanted to become a preacher. That was his goal on Facebook. But then on Facebook, he also had a lot of horrible, hurtful, kind of perverted things on there. And had this strange dichotomy between good and evil. Well, that's the schizophrenia demon. He pretends to be good when he needs to be good, and then he acts evil, which is his natural nature, most of the time. And he uses the person to abuse others and to hurt others. And if the person is so controlled by this schizophrenia spirit, they will murder other people. They will murder you. Now, that's a small percent of schizophrenics have a violent component, and there's no reason to run and hide from everybody who has schizophrenia. I counsel them all the time. They come in to see me. But if the person has a violent component and they're not willing to disengage from the thoughts of the schizophrenia demon in their brain, the person can't be healed, because the schizophrenia spirit will eventually become the dominant personality. They will eventually take that person completely over, and they will dominate that person, as in Mark chapter 5, where you had that gentleman who was homeless, living in tombs, and he had nothing, no money, no life, no career, no family. The schizophrenia spirit had taken over his life and had taken over his mind. And on his Facebook page, for example, this guy said that he loved Christian songs. Some of his favorite songs was I Love Jesus, Resolved to Know Christ, Reaching the Lost, Jesus the Savior. It says his favorite movie was Passion of the Christ and Left Behind. Can you imagine that? Well, that's a schizophrenia demon. He uses religion and Christianity as a front. It's a fraud. And he uses it to trick people, and then he uses the other personality to destroy people. In this particular case, this schizophrenia demon almost pulled off mass murder in Tennessee. If you know someone who has paranoid schizophrenia and they want to be cured and they're willing to get help, 602-636-5800, 2018, the person can be cured of paranoid schizophrenia. It can happen. Call today.
The views expressed on this program are those of the host and not necessarily those of staff, management, or ownership. This program was sponsored by Michael W. Smith.